As you well know, over 70% of the clients that come to see us at Personal Edge Fitness are dealing with weight loss. Well, did you know that one of the most important parts of weight loss happens to be with digestion, and there are specialists in the field? Digestive health specialist with Dr. Michael Sanders today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast
with Garrett Williamson.
Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Good day and welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast. This is Garrett Williamson, your host, president of Personal Edge Fitness. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Appreciate you listening in. We're talking about digestive health today, but first I want to let you know how to get in touch with the show if you have any questions about this topic or any others or any concerning dispelling the myths of health, fitness, and wellness. You can reach us at area code 251-278-EDGE. That's EDGE, 251-278-3343. You can reach out to me at Garrett, Garrett, just like Levi Garrett, Garrett at personaledgefitness.com, and that is also personaledgefitness.com is our website. Personal Edge Fitness is our Facebook page. You can also reach me through Twitter at Team PE. Now, I started the intro talking about weight loss. I mean, it's one of the biggest topics that I speak about because that's the reason why people come to see us. But we get a lot of questions as far as weight loss is concerned, dealing with, believe it or not, of course, digestion. What goes on in the stomach, what goes on in the colon, as far as breaking down nutrients, breaking down the calories that we take in. There's quite a lot going on there, so much so they're actually specialists in the field. And this is something very near and dear to my heart because it actually is involved somewhat with my family. They're actually specialists in that field, and I'm speaking with one today, Dr. Mike Sanders, with digestive health. If I can get that out, Mike, I tell you, digestive health specialist, and I think exercise physiology is easy. But anyway, Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Garrett. Thank you for having me here today.
I appreciate you being here. Now, your background actually is...
I'm a gastroenterologist.
Okay, slowly. Gastroenterologist.
Yes. That's a gut and butt doctor, right?
Oh, yeah. I like that. That's fantastic. It's even better. So the reason I said in the intro that's very near and dear to my heart is that was my father's subspecialty. And actually, I learned gastroenterology at a very early age, and I still have problems with digestive. That's pretty sad. So, Mike, how long have you been a physician?
Let's see. I finished medical school in 1998 and finished up gastroenterology training in 2004. So I've been practicing now for about 17 years.
I know that you know your stuff, but I did not realize that was 6 years past completing medical school. Is that right?
Well, I did an extra couple of years in there. I went to internal medicine residency, then gastroenterology fellowship, and then I did 2 extra years of gastroenterology training doing advanced endoscopy. So and then practiced for a few years at University of Pittsburgh before returning to Mobile in 2011.
I knew that there was a subspecialty after that. I knew there was time past med school, but I didn't realize it was that long. And taking the extra, was that like a fellowship that you did, or?
Yeah, fellowship in gastroenterology and then a fellowship in 2 fellowships in advanced endoscopy.
I got you. Okay. So. I know of those, and I went and got my bachelor's degree in exercise science, then of course got my master's degree. Then they didn't have a fellowship for me, but no, that's impressive.
Some people say I'm insane for going for those extra 2 fellowships. So and my wife is very patient.
Thank you for her. So that's fantastic. I'm itching to get to this. My listeners are very familiar with the fact that I am the water guy. I'm a big fan of water. You know it's coming, guys. 100 ounces a day, every day of the week, every day that ends in Y, even National Don't Drink Water Day. Over 75% of adults don't drink enough water. How does water affect digestive health?
It's very important for your digestive health. The water helps to kind of help with the digestion of the food. It makes it more moist. It allows it to be absorbed across the small intestine as far as the nutrients where most of the nutritional absorption occurs. Also helps with constipation, so it makes the stool more moist, easier to pass, easier to excrete. And it helps with multiple other organ systems, your cardiovascular system, your brain, your kidneys, very important.
I've spoken about this on the show. In fact, I've had neurologists on the show talk about this. About 30% of your water is used by your brain. And what I talk to my clients a lot about, and that's something you just mentioned, is that, one of the first steps, I believe, towards relieving constipation is making sure you're hydrated. I mean, that's one of the biggest causes of it. So.
Absolutely. I constantly talk to my patients about adequate hydration as well as fiber.
Right.
Fiber is huge in our country. We're more of a meat and potatoes, protein, carbohydrate kind of country where we don't have as much fiber, and that has a huge impact on your digestive health.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, mainly because I see a lot of people that suffer from that. I see a lot of people that quite a few individuals that come in and talk about, being constipated, having problems with that, and I'll watch them go through an entire workout session and not drink any water. And I know that they're underhydrated as far as that. And I won't promise you, I won't make this whole show about water. I'll get off of this topic. And we'll move to one that's very important, like I say, to over 70% of our clientele, and that deals with weight loss. Now, as a physician, dealing with what you deal with, I'm sure that the fact that we have an epidemic of obesity, I'm sure it creeps into your practice somehow.
No, it's a huge part of the practice. I think a lot of the digestive health problems that we see can be directly linked to obesity. I mean, you look at gastroesophageal reflux disease, people that I see that, come in with 20, 30-pound weight gains, all of a sudden complaining of reflux, complaining of bloating, having alternating constipation, diarrhea, a lot of irritable bowel syndrome type symptoms, can be directly linked to diet and weight gain.
Right. So many times we see people with knee problems, people with back problems, they're having aches and pains, and a lot of it's due to obesity for that matter. And we know that once we bring those things in line in our Catalyst Lifestyle program, we've had people that once we bring that in line, they realize that their GERD, as you said earlier, the gastric, it's I'm not going to go with that one. Acid reflux tends to dissipate and what have you. So I'm glad to.
Absolutely. Me personally, I tell my patients, I've noticed that if I get to a certain weight, that I'll notice that I'll start having reflux symptoms. So I know that, okay, it's time to start restricting the calories, get back to the exercise.
Very interesting. I like that. Very interesting accountability. I like that. Acid reflux.
It happens to all of us. We all struggle with this. So.
Understand. Well, and for those of you that are watching us on social media, I want to let you know where we are. He was talking about his practice, and we're at your new location here at Digestive Health Specialist. Tell us where we're located.
So we're on the I-65 West Service Road between Dolphin Street and Old Shell. I always tell people right above the Robert Realty Brothers. It seems to have been here forever. So we moved here in May. So we've been open for almost four months now.
Oh, great.
So it's 5 of us, Doctors Fleet, Siegel, Barnett, Gravenides, and myself.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I like your location. It's beautiful, bright, rather non-intimidating for that matter. So
yeah, it's been a nice move. So we've enjoyed it.
Great. Speaking of that, and that's something that our clients ask us quite often. Your field, unlike ours, unlike retail, in many aspects, people feel that it's unapproachable. They don't know really how to get to you guys. You think they have to go through an act of Congress to go see a specialist of some sort. What exactly? Let's say that somebody feels like I've got something going on, got a problem. How do they get to you? What are the steps?
Yeah, they can come through their primary care physician, or they can call and make a direct appointment.
Okay.
So it's very easy. We take patients that don't have a primary care physician, and then we take a lot of patients that are referred from their primary care physician. And then with what I do personally, I take a lot of referrals from other gastroenterologists. So it's many different ways that you can get access to the office.
Well, now the referrals from the other gastroenterologists, talk about that.
Well, I do a lot of advanced endoscopy, so that's what I did with my 2 extra years of fellowship. And so a lot of things that I do that come from other gastroenterologists to do specific procedures that are more in line with GI oncology or pancreatic biliary, so your pancreas, your bile duct system. So, and then a lot of referrals from different surgeons in the area. Okay.
Now that makes sense on the 2 extra years you took, and I hope that your wife is okay with it now. My introduction to gastroenterology was at a very young age, since my father was one. Yep. But most people's I believe their introduction into a unless they have some kind of a difficulty, but gastroenterology is through their first colonoscopy. But there's also some other things. I want to talk about that in a minute about colon screenings and what have you. But that you have to say that first colonoscopy. I mean, come on, that is I know that's kind of intimidating for folks or what have you.
I've had mine. So yeah, it is intimidating even for the gastroenterologist that does it all the time.
Right.
It's always different on the other side of the fence. But
I'm sure.
Such an important thing to do. If you're talking about the importance of colorectal cancer screening.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States, right behind lung cancer.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
And your biggest risk for colon cancer is just being over the age of 50, now age 45, because we're seeing such an increase in younger patients in the United States. So they recently changed that recommendation this year with the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force coming out and saying we need to start beginning colorectal cancer screening at age 45. Right. There's a lot of different forms of colon cancer screening. Colonoscopy seems a little intimidating, but is probably your most accurate and really your only method for prevention, meaning that when you're having that procedure done, we remove polyps in order to try and prevent those from growing into colon cancer.
Okay. Yeah. Then that's a word I've heard quite often. I mean, warning signs as far as polyps are concerned. Over 35% of our clientele is over the age of 65. So this comes up in discussions quite often and talking about polyps and what have you, and how serious that is. But it's being the second leading. You're talking about the second leading cause of cancer? Deaths. Okay, then I've heard about colorectal cancer screenings, what have you. This is rather important, but I mean that's going to be difficult for the average Joe to go get a screening, isn't it? I mean, as far as paying for it and what have you.
No, it's now covered by health insurance, and so in fact, when the U.S. Preventative Society or Services for the Task Force makes that recommendations, then the American healthcare companies are required to cover that for their screening.
Oh, great!
So your screening will be covered at the age of 45 now.
Great.
And previously it was at age 50.
So is that the age? Is that the age for that first colonoscopy typically is now?
It was 50 until this year, and the American Cancer Society actually came out and made recommendations for age 45 in 2018.
Oh wow!
And then some of the other GI societies had followed along with that recommendation, and it was just recently this year where it came out that the task force made those recommendations as well.
Fantastic. Well, then I'm glad to hear you say that. It's something I will advise our clients of, and I'm telling everybody right now, go and get screened. I've had the procedure done myself. As far as colonoscopy is concerned, I was intimidated as anybody else was, and but it was nothing. I mean, to be very descriptive. I mean, it was, sir, roll on your side, and then I was waking up.
Yeah,
I mean it was nothing. So.
I had mine last year, actually during the pandemic, so that was a little difficult to get done. But
sure.
I turned 50, and probably the hardest part was the prep. I just didn't get a lot of sleep that night, and obviously, I'm going down there where I work with these people,
right.
So I know them. I see them on a daily basis. I know the nurses. Hey,
yeah. I hope you were nice to them up until that point. Definitely.
And I'll tell you, I really being on the other side of the fence and being the patient, there was an excellent staff. I mean, this was at SurgiCare, and they just did a great job. But you're right. I mean, you roll into the room, your anxiety's up, and all of a sudden, medicine goes in. You're waking up in the recovery room, and you're, wow, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And I would say that's 99% of people's experience. And so it's just the whole thought of it, I think, is what deters people. And it's unfortunate because nationally, probably only about 68% of people that are eligible for screening actually undergo screening.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And you're looking at, there's a lot of prevention that you could do and a lot of lives you could save if people were probably more compliant with that and follow up. And it's been shown in studies as well that with surveillance, keeping an eye on this, that you can reduce your mortality from colon cancer by over 50%. So
more than significant. Okay, then surveilling. I mean, we speak a lot about, we hear a lot about that first colonoscopy. Then how often? I mean, is that?
If you don't have a family history and no history of polyps, then every 10 years.
Okay.
So, and that's longer than any other testing for colorectal cancer screening. There's a lot of other tests you can do for colon cancer screening, but those have to be done more frequent because they're not as accurate as a colonoscopy. So they either have to be done every year, every 3 years, or every 5 years. But if your colonoscopy is completely normal, you don't have a family history, then every 10 years, currently up until the age of 75, and then for select group, anywhere from the age of 76 to 84, continued surveillance if you're still in relatively good health.
Sure.
So,
and that's great. That's a fantastic map that I don't think, I didn't know it. I'm sure that most people don't know it because we speak about that first colonoscopy, but we don't talk about surveillance as often. So, and I know that there's a link of between colon cancer and avoiding colon cancer and exercise also.
Yep. Absolutely. So, and not only colon cancer, but multiple other cancers. And there's studies that have come out showing that just with moderate activity, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, you can reduce your risk of colon cancer up to 24%. So,
oh, wow.
And there's even a study, I think, that came out of Dana-Farber Institute in Boston showing that patients with colon cancer, if they actually exercised on a routine basis, that they would decrease their mortality by 19% compared to those that weren't. So
rather significant.
Yeah, it's 20%. So and improved survival. So there's a lot that goes with exercise. Nobody knows exactly what the direct link is, but some of them think it might be secondary to a boost in what are called natural killer cells, which can protect against infections or fight cancers, or increase antioxidants, which the antioxidants, as they're circulating, can help with what's called DNA methylation, so it can help repair DNA. And that's thought to be a link to improving your risk as far as cancer. So all of those things are thought to be beneficial with regards to exercise.
I know y'all are really surprised to hear that I'd have somebody come on the show that would talk about, the benefits of exercise. Wow, that's mind blowing. I know. So, and regular exercise and regular taking of water, but starting, as we tell a lot of our clients, and actually one of my guests from previous show had a great quote which I thought was fantastic, and that is the biggest stop is usually the start. It's difficult for people to begin exercise, and we tell everybody, hey, start where you are. We start everybody from thinking about crawling if need be and getting into fitness, but we preach lifelong fitness. And the earlier you start, of course, the more benefits you'll get of it, but we also talk about starting at a young age, trying to develop that habit. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, fitness every single day. And because I happen to know about this, you've got kids, this is something you believe in.
Absolutely. We learned about Personal Edge probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I've got 3 teenagers. My oldest is 17, and then I've got twins that are 14, boy and a girl. And learned about Personal Edge actually through a patient of mine. So, and then we had them all enrolled. They've been working out there probably about 3 or 4 years now. Yeah, exactly. And they've done an amazing job. You guys, your staff, you have done an amazing job. The thing that I like about it is, I think when Madison and Mason started, they were probably 11 or 10, and so I was kind of a little bit concerned about that, but you have taught them kind of how to work out safe, effectively, with no injuries. It's funny, I don't think I've told you this, but I was with Porter, my oldest. He came home one day, and I was in my little home gym working out, and he told me, Dad, you're doing that all wrong. And he said, Garrett said you're going to get injured doing it that way. And so it's an exercise I've been doing all the time, and I go, I probably should listen to Garrett. So, but you guys have done an amazing job. My kids love it. They go there 2 times a week. My oldest is now working out on his own at a local gym.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with it.
And it's instilled that work ethic, builds self-confidence, self-esteem. So I think it's very important.
Thank you for saying so. And I really couldn't leave the show without talking about, I've worked with all 3 of your kids, and I did not know about this incident at the home gym. But I couldn't, if you'd called me, I would have told you, your son's a stud. Be careful.
He's much stronger than I am now, so he likes to push me around now.
Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna stay out of that, and we'll say, fantastic for getting them started so early. But remind everybody before we go. I want to remind everybody where you're located and how to get in touch with you.
So we're on the I-65 West Road between Dolphin Street and Old Shell, not too far from Spring Hill Medical Center, where we all practice as well. Our office number is 251-873-6192. So you can call, make an appointment if you need to.
Great.
I appreciate you having me.
Glad you're here. And like I say, the office is beautiful.
Yeah,
we
thank you. Thank
we
you.
appreciate doing them on location, and this is a fantastic setting. So
Yeah, thank you.
we better pack everything up and get out of here because I know this place is going to be full.
It's going to be, yeah.
I appreciate you joining us today. The thing I want to emphasize more than anything about this particular podcast is the colon cancer screening. Honestly, I did not know until Mike said it just a minute ago about how serious that is and it being the second leading cause of cancer deaths. So, and for something that's so preventable, it's the same thing we see when you hear me talk about drinking water, knocking out 60% of your cravings by simply drinking water. Let's just not talk about it. I mean, let's go out and get it done. Having the professionals that know about this come on my show is a real blessing to us, and we're glad that they want to take part in it to let our clients know what they should be looking out for and how they should be taking care of their health. Digestive Health Specialist, one more way we help you live your level of wellness.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.